Welcome to CACTICALMAIN. Appreciate you stopping by. In today's video, we're going to make some people mad or some people happy. Yep, that's right. Today we're talking about the Glock 19's biggest flaw. That's right, guys. Glock 19, it's clear. You can tell it's clear because the trigger is depressed. That is one good thing about Glocks. It will let you know when it's clear. But it is always best to go ahead and double check, even though I've checked it 5 times and the ammo's not even in the room. I know right out the gate, there's going to be a lot of turds out there to say the biggest flaw of the Glock 19 is it's a Glock. Yee cool, yeah, funny dude, you got me. You got everybody else out there that carries it, millions and millions of people. Anywho, I digress. People tend to gravitate towards when talking about flaws in the Glock is the factory plastic sights. I don't look at those as a flaw because they work. Out of the box, they work. They might not get you through World War III and back, but they do work, they function, but you just can't beat them on a dang bench to rack your slide. But they are cheap enough and easy enough to replace, so I don't consider that a flaw. Reliability, you don't really hear about Glock reliability flaws because they just shoot. It really doesn't matter. The only thing I can get to hiccup my Glock 19 is some steel case ammo with very hard primers. But if I load it up again, it goes bang. So there's 2 strikes on the primers, it goes bang. That's basically what's going to happen with any pistol, especially striker fired, if it's shooting steel case that has hard primers. So once again, reliability for me and my personal experiences with Glocks, it's not a flaw. And another one you tend to hear about a lot is the grip angle of the Glock. The grip angle is just not for me. Is that a flaw? Not really, okay? I fit in my Ford Focus, but I'm not going to fit in your Miata. Is that a flaw of Miata? No, it's not really a flaw, guys. I don't think it is. It might be. Some people might think that is a flaw, but I truly don't believe that the grip angle is a flaw. So, what does that leave? The trigger? A lot of people say the Glock trigger, the Glock factory trigger, is a flaw with the little dingus and everything, and they just can't stand it, and they say it's all smushy. Clear it one more time. It's all smushy and yada yin yang, and the dingus bothers them. It's not a flaw, guys. That dingus keeps you safe. That dingus keeps you from shooting your dingus off. And the trigger itself is a standard self-defense weight trigger. You don't want to go lighter for self-defense for reasons. You could shoot your dingus off. So the trigger is not a flaw. So what is the flaw then? What in the world could it possibly be? Peekaboo! That's it. The trigger guard. The trigger guard on the Glock 19 is its biggest flaw in my eyes. Trigger guard. How in the world is the trigger guard's biggest flaw? There's only one thing wrong with the trigger guard, and that's Glock Knuckle. And that's easily fixed by grinding down on the trigger guard. Some of you might be wondering, what is Glock Knuckle? Glock Knuckle is when you grip the gun, some people's fingers are large enough to where they rub on the surface, the bottom edge of the trigger guard, the trigger housing on the bottom edge, right near the grip, and it digs into the knuckle. If you're shooting 100 rounds or less once a month, once every other month, you're the casual shooter, you're probably never gonna notice it, right? But if you're putting rounds down range, it tends to get a little bit painful, and it tends to impede on your wanting to continue practicing for that day. And so if you have a really good day going, really good string, and you look down and your knuckle is just black and blue, yikes. That's why you tend to see a lot of people grinding away at the trigger guard to relieve the pain, relieve the stress point of the Glock Knuckle. There is another flaw hidden inside the trigger guard. This one didn't present itself to me when I was a casual shooter with the Glock 19. When what was it? Was it the M&P 9 was my go-to gun, and I wasn't putting that many rounds down range with the Glock 19. But I made the switch over a couple years ago, and I started throwing rounds down range, and lo and behold, not only the Glock Knuckle, which I alleviated, I just ground down a little bit, it didn't take a whole lot, There's another problem with the trigger guard. And again, those of you who put multiple rounds down range in a session, hard training, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Glock is so good at getting you nice and high on the slide and the bore axis that it kind of throws off your trigger finger angle. And it angles your finger a little bit more towards the bottom of the trigger, which has nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Still get great consistent trigger pulls. Fast, accurate, reliable, bang, bang, pow, pow, pew, pew, every time. However, with high sustained round counts, with recoil, again, Glock 19, 9mm, not a whole lot of recoil, but it is still there. When your finger is down that low, it tends to roll down just a little bit, and if you can see, we are really close to the trigger guard. When you depress the trigger, the Glock comes back, you let go of the trigger, and you can see skin sometimes rolls up under there. I haven't had it happen to me when I've done less than 500 rounds in one range trip. It's always over 500, probably about 600, maybe 700 rounds. It starts to present itself. And what that skin rolling up under the trigger guard does is it starts to cut a line through your skin. It just starts ripping your finger open. Is that a major injury? No. It makes training kind of crappy. It makes you alter your trigger pull, where you start sticking more finger in there so you're not continuing to rip it. Because at one point, guys, I just continued and continued and continued, and I had a big long rip down my finger. Fortunately, I do not have a picture of it to show you guys, but it was ripped quite a ways down. And it just kept ripping and ripping and ripping. That to me is a design flaw. Now, you say, well, just shoot less. Wear gloves. Well, I'm in Florida. 92 degrees. There's no reason to wear gloves. Hot. There's no reason for adding more heat and stress onto your body than you already have out there training. So, gloves are a no-go. You could tape up your finger to go to the range, and the week after that, it still wasn't healed up. I had to wrap it up pretty good, and I still shot just fine. But that is, to me, a design flaw. Some people might say that's not a big deal. Oh, just shoot less or whatever, do this, do that. Here's the thing, it is marketed, designed as a carry pistol. What are we supposed to do with our carry pistols? We are supposed to train, become proficient, become professionals with our carry firearm. How do you do that? Rounds down range. Continuous volume down range. Practice makes perfect. So when you have a gun, when you have a firearm that bites back when you're putting rounds down range and doing the right thing, I consider that a flaw. So there you have it, guys, the Glock 19's biggest flaw. Yeah, if you came to this video thinking I was going to talk about the sights, the grip angle, the actual trigger itself, yada yada, no. All those are fixable. And the Glock Knuckle is fixable. But the trigger guard being so close to the trigger, I don't really want to get in there and grind down on it. But if it continues to happen, I guess I could do that. I don't know. It might just make it worse, but it is what it is. It's something I know I'm going to deal with. So if I'm going to the range with my Glock 19 and I have 1,000 rounds to run through, I'm going to tape up my finger. That is a simple solution around it. Except, are you going to be able to tape up your fingers in World War III? No. So there you have it, dudes. All over and done with the Glock 19's biggest flaw. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Yeah, the biggest flaw is it's a Glock. Hee, I get you, you're funny. Like the videos, dude. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video. Hey, if you feel like supporting the channel, click on one of the affiliate links down below. We got original gun oil down there with a 10% discount coupon with free shipping in the lower 48. And a couple other links if you want to support the channel. It helps me out bring more bullets for more pow pow pew pews for you and me. Alright guys, see you in the next video.